I'm pretty excited today. You are listening to Show Up Arizona across the great state of Arizona on iHeartRadio. My name is Billy Harfosh. Okay, here we go. I know he's probably going to get right into this here. A man that continues to have an incredible career. You've heard him on your radio. You've watched him on your television. You've seen him on the big screen. And no, we're not going to talk this whole interview. Don't worry, Jay Mohr, about Jerry Maguire. You're probably sick about talking about Jerry Maguire. He is performing live at Rick Bronson's House of Comedy on High Street in Phoenix, Arizona. Jay Mohr, welcome to iHeartRadio. What's up, man?
My man, good to be in iHeartRadio. It's good to be in the iHeart.
It's nice, isn't it? We have nice studios here. We don't have many human beings around anymore, but
It's very automated, very brave new world.
It is.
It's good to see another human that's under the age of 70. They put me up at a comedy condo, and it's in a retirement community.
I know
Average
where you're
age is death. The pool looks like they cast a cocoon. They got a hearse parked next to the jacuzzi just in case. It's nice.
But
I
it's
think
quiet.
I'm going to get laid, though. Just follow the smell of Ben Gay and
There you go. There you go, man. Oh, my
fingers
goodness.
crossed.
Well, listen, he's up. It's Desert Ridge, High Street, Rick Bronson's House of Comedy. Yes, there's some older folks that live up there, but that's the high dollar district, so you can understand. Jay Mohr, I'm not nervous, but I'm more. I guess the word is I'm curious. I'm curiously excited to see how this is going to go today for two reasons. Number one, I'm going to tell you to your face, I practice something called radical honesty, and I really do look up to you. I'm not just blowing smoke. I really do. Your career, you've had an incredible career. As a radio guy, I look up to you immensely. Number two, you're a little bit unpredictable. You're very smart, quick-witted. Not sure where this is going to go today. What about you? Have you ever been disappointed with someone you look up to and you meet them and they're a total jerk? Does that happen to you?
No, I'd love to tell you a good story about that, but I don't really have one. I've been really lucky. Like, out of the gates, it was Tom Cruise, and I never get tired of talking about Jerry Maguire. You know, it changed my life. But out of the gates, Tom Cruise, I mean, he was kind of like the coolest person I ever met in my life. It's like that college coach you'd run through a wall for. He was like that. And like Christopher Walken, Pacino, it's Keanu Reeves, Forrest Whitaker. I've been really lucky. Like, I've worked with some G's. And you realize, like, well, that's why they're at the top of their game, because they're really cool also. They're not, like, complete maniacs.
Well, let's just name some of those names. I mean, you mentioned Tom Cruise. By the way, I'm a shorter guy. I'm not the tallest guy in the world. You're not the tallest guy in the world. Is Tom Cruise taller or shorter than yourself?
6 foot. He's about 5'9", I'd say.
So 5'9", okay.
How tall are you?
I'm about 5'7.5", 5'8" on a good day, depending on the posture.
Depends on the afro, man.
So yeah, it depends on the afro. That can happen as well. You've worked with some of the biggest names in Hollywood. I mean, obviously Cruise, Jennifer Aniston, Clint Eastwood, even on SNL, Al Pacino. There's a great story on YouTube. If you YouTube Jay Mohr, Al Pacino, there's a story about Jay Mohr almost throwing a rock, I believe, at a bird. And Al Pacino almost tackled you because I don't know if he's one of these PETA guys.
No, it's just, I'm so glad you said that, because I told the story last night on stage at Rick Bronson's House of Comedy. We're doing this movie. We're on this rock jetty in San Pedro, California, and every time I went to speak, there was a seagull on a pylon that would just go, gay, 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 like did not want to hear what I had to say. And then when it was Pacino's turn to speak, the seagull got quiet and was like, this guy's amazing. And then Pacino's like, well, don't you know who that I, and the bird's just staring at him, and then it's my turn to talk, and the bird goes, gang, 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 gang. So like for a half hour, nothing I say is recorded dialogue, and we have to keep starting over. So being from New Jersey, I pick up a rock to kill the bird, and I go to throw the rock, and Pacino grabs my arm and goes, don't do that. What if he has babies? What if he has babies? And he's like, it was crazy, like to catch someone's arm mid-throw. It was Al Pacino. Are you prepared? All those baby birds waiting around for their father to come home with supper, but he's not coming home. He was killed by you, the bird murdering man.
Is he dead serious during this?
Dead serious.
Is this a bit?
Dead serious.
Dead serious.
I had a play date with my kids and his kids at his house after that movie. And our kids are out in a patio, out in a tennis court riding go-karts. And at one point, all these assistants are running through the house, like grabbing keys, like panic. I thought it was like a home invasion or something. I go, what's going on? They go, Al took the kids to get ice cream. I go, so what? And one of the assistants goes, Al's never driven.
Oh, come on.
So like in the middle of this beautiful LA Beverly Hills day, he's like, all right, who wants ice cream? Get in the car. Sea salt caramel.
Oh my.
How hard could it be to drive? They had to follow Al Pacino and just find where he took these kids.
So on some level, I mean, you've been around that. You've been in these shows, in these movies. You've done it all, and you've worked with people on at the highest of highs. But like '96, take me back for a second, Jerry Maguire. '96, I think that was your first kind of big feature.
That was my first
film.
movie, yeah.
You go on set. You got Renee Zellweger. You've got obviously Tom Cruise, Cuba Gooding Jr. Are you Mr. Like you're a confident guy? I feel like. Are you Mr. Confidence or are you Mr. What the hell am I doing here right now?
Mr. Cocky.
Cocky.
Yeah, like I'm ready to go because, you read a lot to get there, and by the time now I'm the opposite. Now when I'm on set, I'm complete imposter syndrome, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get fired today. Like I worked Monday and Tuesday this week on an independent movie, and it was just, I was like, I shouldn't even act anymore. This is all, like I really, like on Monday, I'm in the restroom going, this is not joyful at all. This is awful. And then Tuesday I had like the best time.
Why now though? I mean, after so many.
Because I'm sober. Basically.
Is that it? Now you struggled with anxiety, right? That's not.
I used to, not anymore. But last time I was in Phoenix, I was here in February, and I was, I've been clean 11 months tomorrow.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
That's
I was
good.
a bit of a speed freak, and so I, like you mentioned earlier, like how unpredictable I am, and I'm like, no, not anymore. It's neat.
Do you miss any of it? I don't mean
No.
miss the drugs. I mean, do you miss the party? Do you miss the after show? You're looking out in the crowd.
No,
like,
but that's
who
the
am
thing is I
hanging out
never
with tonight?
partied with anybody. I partied alone. I was isolating all the time. Like I was addicted to Adderall, and I would just use it at people, like my ex-girlfriend, my girlfriend, my ex-wife, my other ex-wife. I don't like the way my kid walked across the room, and I would just go in the restroom and snort Adderall, swallow Adderall. And then when you come out of your hiding, people are uncomfortable around you because you're like this frenetic ball of energy that's like, hey, I'm going to write a poetry book. I'm going to do this. I'm a life coach. I'm this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to stuff. At the end of like radio commercials where they go, like that's how you act that's how you feel inside all the time. And you spend every waking moment going, am I making sense to yourself? So then everyone's like a little uncomfortable around you. And they're like, yeah, we're going to go. Then you go use more because they don't get you. And then when you come out again, there's less people. So you just keep making your life smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And now, like today, I went out to eat with, Greg Baldwin, the featured comedian this weekend. And my buddy Nick, who lives in town. It's like, I've never had it so good. I've wanted this connection and this presence my whole life. This is what I was always trying to fill, that hole.
This is the real Jay Mohr. This is the real you now.
I think so.
I mean,
it's getting better every day.
Clear-eyed, clear-headed.
Yeah.
Aren't the mornings better too? You wake
up.
Oh
yeah, I love
good?
my morning routine. I wake up, I make my bed, I pray, I call my sponsor, I write my gratitude list, and I hop on an 8 a.m. men's Zoom meeting. And now it's 9 o'clock, and I've done that. If I do nothing else all day, I did that.
You already accomplished a lot. That's incredible.
Yeah,
man.
but
Good
like
for
I
you.
was an addict. Like I was born that way. Like
Yeah.
I was always insatiable my whole life. Like I always wanted more time, more affection, more validation. If you and I were on the couch watching TV at your house, I spent the entire time figuring out how I could bond with you more, even though we were already doing it. It's always like more and more. And now, like if I miss a meeting, I get a bunch of guys texting me like, hey, where were you? We missed you. If I go to a meeting in Rochester, New York, or Manhattan, LA, we're here. I went to one today at noon. You just walk in like, hey, how you doing? Like I've wanted that my whole life.
But in a sense, has that attributed, in a sense, to part of your success because you had that? I don't want to say manic, but the extreme highs. I mean, there's not many people that you've done a lot. I mean, you've been a writer, radio, Jim Rome, you've done so much. In a sense, did that lift you up because it was never enough?
Yeah, I think to make it in this business, show business, you have to be so singularly focused. And I got my validation. It's a terrible recipe for a drug addict, really, being a comedian. You fly somewhere, you go 5 hours away on an airplane, you're alone. People have bought their tickets to see you. They can't speak back to you. They sit there as long as I deem appropriate. They applaud. They literally go, we like what you are saying, JJ. You're the best. And then I go back to my room and I sit alone. And then I got 22 hours completely alone to look at like pornography and look at prostitutes online and stuff like that, and just have lower companions and do whatever. It's a terrible recipe.
It's a
for an
cycle.
addict.
Then you want
yeah.
the recognition again. You just keep going around.
But
and
I
around.
do think that insatiability definitely played a part in me becoming successful because, not getting, not getting enough attention as a kid, having an alcoholic parent in the home, and not, having both parents for the first time at 10 years old. Like, if I put all my chips into this basket of stand-up comedy, which is what I did since I was 16 years old, I get that validation. I feel like I found my tribe. And then I sort of disintegrated. I faded from the photograph of my tribe more and more. And the tribe keeps going without you. And then you realize you're way out of the photograph. You're way off frame. And that's where I was. Look, my agent told me at my intervention March 11th last year that he wasn't going to book me anymore. And this is my best friend who became my agent, not an agent who became my buddy. That'd be transactional. And this is my guy, like 20 years old in Manhattan, on top of the roofs of the buildings, like shaking hands, like, my man, we look out for each other forever, man. And I always thought I'd be looking out for him. And he told me, like, you're a mess. You got to get help. I'm not going to book you anymore. So at 10 months and 30 days, to be back at the scene of the crime, it's when I go on stage and I say, it's great to see you guys, I mean it more than I ever meant it.
That's awesome.
I mean it, maybe I mean it for like the first time.
Truly grateful.
Oh, so grateful.
We're speaking to Jay Mohr right now. This is iHeartRadio, Show Up Arizona with Billy Harfosh. Okay, don't mean to get dark, but I have to mention this. We have lost some major people in your business, in the entertainment world and show business lately. Two of them were on this show within the last year and a half. Who?
Oh. Meatloaf.
Meatloaf. Well, yeah, that's who I was.
I knew what you're talking about.
Not Meatloaf, but of course, Louis Anderson is a friend of the show.
Hey, Billy, it's Louis.
Exactly it.
Hey,
There he is.
Jay Mohr, the singer. I don't know.
I love Louis. Me and Louis were dear friends.
Bob Saget.
Amazing.
Bob Saget. When I saw that,
Should have been Stamos.
You get these stupid alerts. Too soon, I guess not for Jay Mohr. Do you get these stupid
Not for
alerts?
Bob Saget.
Not for Bob Saget either. On CNN, when I saw that, obviously he's just been on my show. I don't know him like you know him or personally, but my heart just sank because he was true. He was on. He called in a couple times and he literally for 15 minutes talked to me after the show, after we stopped recording, just to be a cool guy. Bob Saget, right? And then of course, Norm. Now Norm was never on the show. I regret not having him.
Norm was never on Billy, sure. Yeah. You got to keep in mind, like early on, I got my first dose of that with Buddy Hackett, who was like a father to me, and then I got it with Ralphie May. So I got kicked in the groin pretty hard early.
Ralphie, yeah.
Ralphie was my brother.
Yeah.
Like he's open for me here.
When you see those type of men pass away recently, does it make you reevaluate your career in any way? Like, take a deep breath and say, yeah, this is what I want to be doing. I want to be doing stand-up comedy. I want to be on the road. I want to be sober. Does it make you when it's a peer, it's one of your peers.
Billy, I don't know how to do anything else. Like, what am I going to retire and do what? Like, work at Home Depot? And like, are you the guy from Jerry Maguire? Yeah, you want a Phillips head, you said? Like, I have no discernible skills. None. Except talking and being full of BSing. Like, that's my skill set. Like, maybe I could be an FBI profiler, like something, but you got to go to school for that stuff. And I don't have the bandwidth. That's why the radio show, like I did 3.5 years. And eventually, like the panels come off the rocket. It's like, you guys have radio stamina. I didn't have it every day. And that was an easy gig. That was 3 hours a day.
You loved that, didn't you?
I loved it, but after 3 years, you're like, Maron, how often can I talk about the Cowboys?
Right.
And, but it makes me not want to die in a hotel room. Like, that's like Bob hit his head and then they found out, look, the odds of me dying in a hotel room are slim. I have 20 days off a month. I got a great life. I think this is the greatest. I don't know a single occupation that would be more fun than this. Like, I'm at work now, and we're sitting here having a good time.
This is your work.
Yeah, like right now, I'm having a nice time. You're having a nice time.
Yeah.
I got friends. And when I leave here, I'm going to go sit by the pool, swim a little bit,
Spit
hit the
some
jacuzzi.
game.
No, those days are over too. That's another addiction I got to
Got over that
I got
one
a
too.
girlfriend. Pack your bottoms and hit the bricks, ladies. I'm out of the business.
Speaking of Jay Mohr right now, he is at the House of Comedy all weekend. The House of Comedy, our friends up there, High Street in Phoenix, Arizona. I got to ask you, you're sick of talking about cancel culture. I don't want to get into that right
You don't
now.
know what I'm sick of talking about.
I'm guessing you're sick of talking about cancel
I got jokes
culture.
holstered for it.
Okay, well then let's go. I don't know if you're a buddy of Joe Rogan's. I'm not sure if you're a friend of his. Doesn't matter. What is happening in the world of podcasting right now? I understand we're on iHeartRadio, terrestrial radio right now. I can't drop F-bombs. You can't drop F-bombs. You can, but we're going to take them out. But podcasting, that was kind of cool. It's like the Wild West. We can talk about any conspiracy theory you want. We can talk about any political situation. We can use any word we want. Right. All of a sudden, they're trying to cancel that man. Is this where the road we're going down, where they're going to start censoring every single platform? And is it right?
Once you take the $100 million and suck from the corporate teat, the corporation you have freedom of speech. The corporation has freedom of you don't work here anymore. NBA players have the freedom to do whatever they want, to not adhere to like maybe a dress code or something, not stand for the anthem. The team has the right to go, well, then you don't play for me anymore. So when you're a podcaster, it's exactly, it's really well put, Billy. Like, it is the Wild West. It is like pirate radio, because you're doing like ads for Squatty Potty from your garage or whatever. But once you go to something like Spotify and that amount of money is involved, you have a boss. And the reason we get into comedy is we never want to have a boss. But once you go over to a Spotify or an iHeartRadio, you have a boss. So I mean, I'm not going to weigh in on what Joe should and shouldn't say. I think everybody should be able to say what they want, but you also have to be able to live with the ramifications. And I'm not a COVID. I don't know anything about COVID. I know, I got vaxxed. I did my thing because I got a kid, and I got to work in public and do all that. But if you have a responsibility to represent that company once you take that company's money.
You have a ton of followers, you have a ton of fans all over the country. Do you feel like, as a celebrity, as a quote-unquote public figure, that you have the responsibility to speak out about, like, let's take politics, for instance. Do you feel like in a non-joking way, off stage, you have the responsibility to speak out about politics, about health emergencies and all that kind of thing?
No,
or?
I don't. I think I'm the last person people want to hear from. I have a responsibility to speak about sobriety, carry the message, so to speak.
Right.
I have a responsibility to separate people from concern. That's my calling.
Do you get kind of turned off when people speak out about politics?
What
about Stern? Stern has been very vocal.
He's the best at it. But that's why I don't have to do it, because guys like Joe Rogan and Howard Stern do it. There's comedians like Dennis Miller that represent the right. There's comedians like Patton Oswalt that represent the left. So what would I add to it?
You and Stern mend fences?
It was a one-sided fight.
But you know what's goofy?
We've never had a conversation.
When you put your name, you did once, because you were on a show.
I was never on Howard Stern's show.
Gary came up with a microphone. It was like
that was
thing.
To get on, and then he didn't use it.
When you put your name in YouTube, it kind of upset me. It pissed me off.
It's all about like me versus somebody else.
It's you versus Dice. It's you versus Stern.
Right.
And then there's this clip. It's like number 2 or 3 on YouTube. Check it out. And you've had this incredible career, incredible stuff that we're talking about today. And then the third one down, the second one down, is Stern trashing you. And I said 11 years ago, or I don't even know how long ago.
20
years ago.
Let me tell you about Jay Mohr. I know things that would end Jay Mohr's career. I'm like, I don't know things that would end my career.
But doesn't that kind of suck? Because I mean,
yeah, I think it sucks.
You probably look up to him like I did at one point,
love him.
right?
I really love him. Look, Reggie Jackson put it best: fans don't boo nobodies, and that just lets me know I'm a somebody.
I love that.
And basically, what happened is whoever posted my podcast onto YouTube posted each episode as Jay Mohr versus Jay Mohr versus. Me and Anthony Jeselnik were friends. Jay Mohr versus, like, people that are on it that are my friends.
Sure.
It still says that.
Yeah.
It also says I steal material. It also says, whatever. But it's just, I can't control that. Yeah. It's not my problem.
Yeah, and if the king goes after you, again, that makes you even, that's cool,
right?
I love it. Makes you
guy.
relevant.
You know what happened was there was another radio show, Opie and Anthony, that were going after Howard hard all the time. And I made my bed with them. And when very well, Billy, like when you're in a radio station at 6:30 in the morning with a bunch of people, you get caught up, you go with the flow, and you choose sides. And these guys were helping me sell tickets, and I went along with the flow, and that was my mistake, not staying neutral.
Meanwhile, you wanted to come on and promote your book and stuff. He still mentioned the book anyways. You weren't on the show, but Stern still mentioned the book anyway, so it's kind of a cool thing. It probably helped.
Oh, really? My SNL book?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Probably helped you.
So I guess I owe Howard Stern an apology.
Thanks,
so
Howard.
If you're listening, Howard, I owe you an apology for choosing sides. It was premature of me, and it was very short-sighted.
And Jay Mohr will appear on Howard Stern's show one day.
Yeah,
that'd
be nice of me, right?
That'd be really nice of you to do for him. All right, we're gonna finish up. We're gonna finish up with this. Jay Mohr, you've been very gracious with your time. You got to get back up there to the condo, the jacuzzi with all the senior citizens. I know they're missing you. Okay, here we go. Perspective. That's our favorite show on this word, perspective. Right now, I was just in our newsroom down the hall here at at KNIX, and unfortunately, Russia might be invading Ukraine at any moment, okay? And just stay with me here. Perspective. We're sitting here joking around on the radio today. You got an awesome stand-up show to do this weekend. We're having fun. Right now, there's American soldiers that are sitting in Romania and sitting in Poland, and they could be going to war. Who knows what's going to happen in the coming weeks and months? I know that you've, on your website, Save the Brave. That's an organization that is very near and dear to your heart to help veterans. Do you ever kind of like sit back and think, my goodness, for all the faults, for all the stuff I've been through, this is my life. And there's people across the world right now that aren't sure if their home is still going to be standing a week from now.
I think it all the time. I thought it today. I was laying in bed today, and as I was drifting to sleep, I almost took a little nap in the morning, and I pictured me seeing myself at 51 years old doing comedy, and how would I like my act? And the fact that I said I have 2 sons, like a 26-year-old me, just knowing I had 2 sons, I'd probably just break down crying. And just the fact that I'm still in the game in 34 years, you know, from when I started. But yeah, I think that all the time. Like, this is an embarrassingly great life. I said in the car right here, I must have been like a kicked dog in another life, because I got it pretty easy.
What's amazing to me, though, is I can see it in your eyes, you still carry that with you. Because there's a lot of guys and gals that come through here, and they've done a lot of really cool stuff in their career, and I almost feel, I'm sorry to say, they almost take it they're jaded. They take
Rehab's a really good focus pull. When you're sitting in rehab, kicking speed, and then you come out the other end of that, it's like, what was I angry about? This is a good life. I get to do my life over again at 51. I got my son back. I got my girlfriend back. I got my career back. I got new friends. The guys I love the most in my life, I've known 9 months. Guys that were in prison for murder, I trust with my son, with my finances, like all like AA guys. Because I know them this way. I know them. I know they're a member of the same tribe I'm a member of, and I know they live by principles and a morality that I live by.
You've walked through the fire, man. Jay Mohr.
Man, did I walk through the fire.
Congratulations on everything. Your career, like I said at the top, I truly do, from the bottom of my heart, years, I'm not trying to date you because you're still a young guy, but I have looked up to you.
Man, thank you.
Congratulations on your being clean, your sobriety.
Billy, most people, when they say radical honesty, they say something mean. You said something really nice. That was great. This is good for my ego.
It is good. It is good. And I mean it. I really mean it.
Thank you, brother.
Stay clean. We'll see you here next time you come through.
I look forward to it. You got my word.
Here you go. Go see Jay Mohr, Rick Bronson's House of Comedy, High Street. All our friends up there on High Street in Phoenix. Jay is ringing his bell right now. That means he's got to go. We'll be right back. Show Up Arizona, Billy Harfosh, iHeartRadio. Boom.
That was good, Billy.
Done.
Thank
you,
that
man.
was great, because I started like Z Morning Radio, like, hey, and then I had to go into your double Dutch.
I knew you'd be real.
It was really good. I started wacky, and you were, I didn't realize what I was getting into, and I'm glad I got into it.
Good for you, man. Freaking.
You came down with
There
the bat.
he is, man. He is level-headed.
Anybody ever
He's
pulls a
clean
bat
and
on you,
sober.
run at them.
Gotta get that's right. Stay close, right?
Just run right at them, because I can't hit. Here, I got you.
Are you touring with him? Or
Yeah, he's my feature on my mic.
That's awesome, man. Very cool.
You want to throw a dart at the map, Greg?
Yeah, we do a thing called Friends Day Wednesday. So Beth throws a dart every Wednesday. It's some random town, and then she calls a random business and tries to make a friend live on the air. It's actually pretty fun.
That's fun.
This was like the heartbeat of the country at the turn of the century, all through the St. Lawrence River. This was like Manhattan.
Was it really?
Yeah, because
Oh, hell yeah.
Because there was
There was no boats, so it was coming down.
there was no like.
I know
If
Nova
you landed
Scotia
here,
was
it's
pretty
like you
big.
got to take it over the land. Here, you just go bing, 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 bing.
Well, I'm from Syracuse, New York, right
Down
here.
capital of the United States.
That's where my brother lives.
There you go. Thank you for that, Jay. And we have the Erie Canal.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And the Erie Canal was also the old school, like, they would trade salt and all kinds of shit. And
15 miles on the
Erie Canal. That's
I
right.
didn't know you're from Syracuse. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, Syracuse.
You know where,
Man, he's
you know
from
where
us.
Manlius is?
He's from
I'm-
Oswego, man.
I'm